Stop buying soup. Seriously. Today we're talking about soup, why you should be making this item at home, and why it's easier than you thought. Let's get into the four or five reasons why you should be making soup at home. First one is, it's easy to make. Now don't get on my case about how I don't know how to make soup and it doesn't taste the same as in a restaurant. Yes, I get you. This was me for a long time. What I want you to know is I create a resource just for you. It's called The Best Soup of Your Life in Under an Hour. This is my cookbook that has all of my favorite soup recipes. We talk about how to make your own stock, what to do with it, how to flavor it, and what I figured out was there was a lot of different tricks that I didn't know about that were super helpful. Anyway, the link is below if you want to buy that. But soup, getting back to our points, soup is super easy to make. It's cheap. This is one of the cheapest dinners you can do. You can pair it with crusty bread or a sandwich and make it a heartier meal. This is what my kids love to do because my youngest actually does not like soup. I know, I was like, are you sure that I'm your mother and you don't like soup? But he just doesn't like the idea of not chewing something for dinner. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but he's always like, you're just drinking something, you're not actually having dinner. He has a point. The next reason that you should be making soup at home is it's super comforting. And one of the things that I started doing this year is making soup for people. My mother used to love to make soup and she would make incredible soup. And one of the things that I consciously did at the beginning of this year was people who I know are going through hard things, people who I know who could use like a hug, I call it like a hug in a mug, like, you know what I mean? Like something is just comforting that they're eating or drinking or whatever. For those people, I didn't make a big deal of it. I made them soup and I made them dinner. And the first lady I did this with, I thought that she would think that I was bonkers, and she wrote a very sweet note on one of my Facebook posts. She was so touched that when her mother was going through late stage cancer, all that garbage, that I brought her soup. So it is really something that people will remember. So that's something that is going to remain a goal for me for this next year, is to make soup for other people who you really feel like they just need it. They just need a moment of your time. They need to know that they are special and that you care about them and they're loved. What else? Okay, what is the last reason that you need to be making soup? Okay, I think it's University of Michigan did a study probably 10, 15 years ago now, and the study determined that chicken soup actually does help you recover from illness. And part of the reason that chicken soup does this is it's the onion and the garlic in the chicken soup. Both of these are antibacterial, and this is why one of my home remedies is fermented garlic. This is another thing I'm going to be teaching you how to make. But for today, just know that those two ingredients, onion and garlic, really help with maintaining wellness according to this study. Didn't make it up, they determined it. So all of these reasons are why you should be making soup more. So let's talk about how easy it is to make soup. Some people do not think it's easy whatsoever. I'm gonna take you with me while I make my tortellini soup today. This is kind of a take on my minestrone. If you've never had a minestrone before, it is a vegetable soup that has a red tomato base. So I will cook all my vegetables first, and towards the end I'll put in a can of tomato sauce. You can also use tomato paste. And then at the very end, we're gonna put in our tortellini. I also like to put in some chopped spinach or greens. My kids will not appreciate that though. So if you're dealing with kids here, maybe just try something that's fun for them. I think that the tiny tortellinis, okay, I think those are the funnest pastas for kids because it's little bite-sized stuff. It's not something that's huge for them. Really tiny bite-sized pieces of pasta. You can find those anywhere from your local Albertsons to Trader Joe's, and sometimes you can find those on sale too. So the first thing we want to know about making soup is that we're going to start with the freshest ingredients possible. However, my mother always had a trick. She hated chopping. She hated the concept of just standing there and like, but the woman loved to cook, right? So what she would do instead was she would buy as many vegetables frozen as she possibly could. She would buy chopped onion frozen. You can get this in the freezer section of any grocery store. And you cannot typically get celery, so you're probably stuck chopping your own celery. You can get chopped carrots frozen. You can even find organic options, or you can do what I do, and that is when I come home from Costco, I try to prep all my veggies that day. So I get out my food processor and I make sure everything's chopped right then and there, and I throw it in the freezer and it's good to go. So we could find ways to make this simpler, but in general, this is probably gonna take you an hour. And this is not an hour at the stove where you're like, you know, doing something high maintenance. This is an hour where you're gonna have to look in on your soup. What else can we have with our soup? I think a sandwich pairs with this so lovely. You can make your own bread, which I'm gonna be teaching you guys more of how to do this. I'm not a sourdough girl. I just can't babysit something like that. But I do love a yeast bread. And I think you get a more consistent product every time. And so I'm really loving using yeast more than sourdough. But if you want to know the quickest trick and the easiest trick in the book, and that is to use crescent rolls. You can either make them like you would your regular crescent roll, or sometimes I will make fun shapes and like roll them up into knots and stuff. Cover them with some melted butter that also happens to have minced garlic in there, and my family loves it. So do whatever you like with your soup. Right now, we're gonna get into the kitchen. I'm gonna show you how to make my tortellini soup. And I want you to comment below and let me know if, first of all, doing something like this, bringing someone soup who maybe they're sick, maybe they are just not feeling good. Is that something you would do? Or is there something else you would do instead? Maybe bring someone a book and a cup of tea or something. I don't know. I think these are great ways to connect with people. And I've been thinking about this a lot because AI is something that is allowing us to have less human interaction. So my question recently has been, how am I going to maintain those friendships that are super important to me? How am I going to make sure that I continue to connect with the people that I love? Anyway, something to think about. All right, let's make soup. Okay friends, that's it for my soup recipe. As you can tell, this isn't really complicated. If you want to see more recipes like this, you can click below to my Best Soup of Your Life in Under an Hour cookbook. This not only has all my favorite recipes, but also has a video tutorial where you can cook along with me. We're not speeding up the frame at all. We're going regular pace. And so it's like I'm right there in the room with you and we're cooking together. If that's something that interests you, click below. If not, I will see you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this with a friend who you think needs to learn how to make soup. Take care, guys.